In a quiet rural village in Nigeria, Amara's life was torn apart after the death of her husband. Standing outside her modest home, clutching her young son, Chukwudi, she watches as her late husband's brothers, her uncles-in-law, tear through their belongings. The home, once filled with warmth, now echoed with the cold cruelty of betrayal. In a village where family should have offered comfort, Amara's heart was shattered. The death of her husband not only claimed his life but the life they had built together. Her uncles weren't mourning, they were hungry for what didn't belong to them. Uncle 1, spitting with venom. "This land, this house, it's ours now. You're just a woman. A widow. Get out or we'll throw you out." Amara drops to her knees, tears flowing uncontrollably. She clasps her hands in front of them, her voice hoarse and trembling. Amara, pleading, crying. "Please, this is my son's home. His father built this for us. Have you no heart?" Uncle 2, mocking. "Heart? Mercy. Not for you. Take your boy and leave." With cold, heartless laughter, the uncles shove her away. Amara stumbles, clutching Chukwudi to her chest. The once welcoming home now looked like a tomb, and the villagers watched in silence as the widow and her son were cast out. Left with nothing but the clothes on their backs, Amara turned her gaze to the future. Though the world had turned its back on them, she promised her son something no one could take away. Amara, whispering through her tears. "My son, we are broken today, but I swear to you, one day we will rise." Amara and Chukwudi's journey led them to Onitsha, a sprawling city full of life and opportunity, but to them, it was a cold, unwelcoming place. With no money, no family, and nowhere to turn, the streets became their new reality. They found shelter beneath a massive concrete bridge. The noise of the city above felt like a cruel reminder of how far they had fallen. Onitsha, the city of dreams for many, but for Amara and her son, it was a prison of survival. Under that bridge, they found only cold nights and the indifferent eyes of strangers. Amara worked tirelessly, frying akara on the streets. Her hands trembled with exhaustion as she served customers, each coin a painful reminder of how far she had fallen. Chukwudi, still young, watched her with wide, questioning eyes. Chukwudi, innocently. "Mama, will we ever have a real home again?" Amara paused, wiping away a tear before turning to him with a fragile smile. Amara, with forced hope. "One day, my son. One day, we will have everything we lost, and more." As the years passed, Chukwudi grew into a teenager hardened by life on the streets. He began working as a bus conductor in the chaotic motor parks of Onitsha, weaving through the madness, shouting for passengers, and risking his life daily. From a boy who dreamed of better days, Chukwudi became a young man hardened by the streets. His childhood was lost to the hustle, but in his heart burned a fierce determination to lift his mother from their suffering. One day, as Chukwudi ran through traffic, narrowly avoiding a speeding bus, Amara's heart nearly stopped. She screamed, fear gripping her. Chukwudi, drenched in sweat, turned to her, his eyes filled with fierce determination. Chukwudi, with resolve. "Mama, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll save enough money. We can't live like this forever." Amara watched him with a mixture of pride and sorrow. Her son, still so young, had taken on a burden far too heavy for his years. Yet, his strength gave her hope. Late one night, under the bridge that had become their home, Chukwudi and Amara sat together. Chukwudi had been saving every naira he could. It was now or never. After years of hustling, Chukwudi had saved enough for one final chance, a ticket out of the life that had trapped them. Chukwudi, determined. "Mama, I'm going abroad. I've saved enough to make a new life, and when I return, I'll bring back everything they took from us. I swear." Amara's heart ached. She had already lost so much, and now she was being asked to let go of the one person who meant everything to her. Amara, tearfully. You're all I have, Chukwudi. What if something happens to you? Chukwudi took her hands, his voice steady but filled with emotion. Chukwudi *. Mama, I will come back. And when I do, we will rise. I promise. 5 years passed. Amara, now older and frailer, still lived beneath the bridge, waiting with a heart full of hope. One day, a car pulled up to the edge of the street, and from it stepped a man dressed in fine clothes. Amara's heart skipped a beat. 5 years of waiting. 5 years of hope. And finally, the day came. Chukwudi had returned. Chukwudi stepped out, now a man, strong and successful. Amara collapsed to her knees, tears flowing as she recognized her son. Amara, sobbing. Chukwudi, is it really you? My God, is this my son? Chukwudi rushed to her, embracing her tightly. Tears filled his own eyes as he held her close. Chukwudi, softly. Yes, Mama. I'm back. Just like I promised. He opened his suitcase, revealing stacks of money. Amara broke down, overwhelmed by the sight. Amara, weeping. Thank you, God. Thank you for bringing my son back to me. Chukwudi returned to the village as a man of means. The house that once belonged to his father stood tall again, restored to its former glory. His uncles, now old and broken, stood before him, trembling. Chukwudi came back not just to reclaim his home but to restore his mother's dignity. With the money he had earned abroad, he bought back everything that was stolen from them. Uncle One, trembling. Chukwudi, we were wrong. Please have mercy. Chukwudi, with grace. You gave us none. But I'll show you mercy. Not for you, but for my mother. He handed the keys to Amara, who stood beside him, her head held high for the first time in years. Amara's journey of pain had finally come full circle. Her son had not only lifted them from poverty but restored their honor. They were no longer forgotten. As mother and son walked into their home, the sun set behind them, casting a golden light on the land that was once theirs, and was theirs again. The end.